Aries one there. Alrighty, Hope. Here we go. So here's your Taurus block. That's your template, actually, for folding. So we're going to actually do this, and that's so cool because Taurus is, you know, it's appearing now in a tropic, according to the tropic astrological dispensation. The sun is appearing to transit Taurus right now, so this would be great to use. All right, and then we're going to go through all the parts. All right, so here we go. So how I start, I put the actual writing on the template face down. This is a 8-inch square template. Okay. First, I'm doing a half fold. Now, granted, I'm going to let you know where things are. Can they see through the paper like I can? Can they see through the paper?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's great. So you guys can see through the paper. So you see the sign is face up, okay? So you see Taurus here and Venus there, all right? So I'm going to put that down now. Alrighty. Bring this light a little closer to me. All right. Put this light over so they can actually have the light, right? And you can have the camera. Yes, there you go.
I just don't want the shadow.
Yeah, you won't have the shadow at all. Behind the light. Alrighty. All right, so here we go. So here we go now. Alrighty. So we have this face down. Half. Okay. I don't have my little card, do I? Let's see. 2 seconds. Because this is important too in making sure things are tight. So I want to make sure I'm being very thorough in how I want this to go. All right, so I guess you guys can use any kind of hard plastic card. You can use any kind of hard plastic card that you like, okay? So I'm gonna use this, you know, Easy Points from 7-Eleven, you know what I mean, which is kind of what I use in combination with this. So these are my, you know, makeshift, if you wanna say, creasing tools, okay? And I'll show you why, all right? And I mean, to each his own. Sometimes I feel like using this, sometimes I don't, okay? So it's like, you know, almond joys and mounds, all right? So here we go. So the Taurus sign is up and we're doing a half fold this way. So now you'll actually see possessions at the edge, okay? And I cut the templates in a way, I don't know if they can see that. Can you get a close on that, Mother Aria? I don't know if they can see. And there's like a little edge right here, about maybe a 1/16 of an inch, maybe even smaller. I think it's actually 15/16. Or is that? It's a small 1/16, something like that. It was. I remember subtracting some numbers and replacing them, but whatever. But you'll actually see the edge too, and you'll actually see that there's an outline that you know, is used to make sure that you guys get an even edge, roughly. Sometimes the cuts are a little off because I'm using 2 trimmers. You know, sometimes we use this to cut, you know what I mean? And then the Westcott trimmer, you know, the other one a little smaller that we slide with, you know, so it depends on, you know, what I feel like using to cut with, I guess, so. All right. So I'm just making sure my edges are tight. And I'm holding here. And sometimes I'll just kind of swipe. And it's like kind of getting like air bubbles out of it. Because sometimes when you fold paper, it doesn't really fold like you expect it. So sometimes it works like that. Next, I'm just making sure I'm double sealing and putting a little pressure. On the paper, just not to rip it, but I really want to make that crease look like, you know, your mom took some starch and an iron on your khakis or your uniform pants back in elementary school. I'm sorry, elementary indoctrination centers. Alrighty, so now you see Venus here. I'm going to open it back up. It's still, you know, everything as far as the sign and Venus are still right side up, yet inverted. I'm going to turn 90 degrees to the right, and I'm going to fold in half again. Okay. And originally, I saw this fold. And it was a fold that it said this is a fold at Kasahara, a fold by Kasahara. So you're checking an origami book. And it was a video presented by Jeremy Schaefer. So you guys see I used my fingers this time instead of the card. So I was like, sometimes I just see how I feel and how the paper goes to get the result. So Jeremy Schaefer kind of goes through this, you know, this fold in the video. I just thought it was like really, really cool. But, you know, I mean, however, since this is for uplifting fallen humanity and our family across the planet. Okay, so you see I'm opening up that again. All right. Have it here, Taurus is up, so we got a crease here. But I just wanted to have a tutorial, you know, for our family immediately. All right. So those are my two folds in half. Okay. Now, that fold came from, like I said, I turned it 90 degrees, and that was my fold, right? Now I'm going to open this. I'm going to turn another 90 degrees. All right. Now Taurus and Venus are upside down. I'm going to take this edge and fold to the middle crease. Depending on how meticulous you are, and if you're as anal retentive as I am, and pay attention to detail, you'll be able to get it right on the crease, and you'll see how effective that is when it comes to your final product. Okay, so you see I go on the line first, and I just kind of swipe with the finger from the middle. Sometimes I do that, depends on if there's not a lot of oil and stuff on my fingers. I got too much frankincense or something on my hands. I just like use gloves or this here. So now I'm creasing that. And once again, that came from, you know, the sign and the planet being upside down. And then I went from the left to here. Okay. So now I'm going to turn 90 degrees to the left. Okay. And now this edge to the center. And once again, this is for the purposes for, you know, really getting yourself familiar with the astrology. But mostly this is for the young and yet unborn. Young and yet unborn. See, I got a little smudge right there, but it's all good. Young and yet unborn come from mothers. That's where they come from, the young and yet unborn. So this is for the young and yet unborn. It's also for their mothers as well. So mothers, whatever you study, learn, eat, watch, hear, inhale through the nose as far as breathing, you know, that baby is learning and becoming that which you're intaking. So this is highly important for you to have for your posterity. Right? So crease in here. All right. So just to show you guys that we first, just to go back real quick recap, started there, face down, half fold, then now we're upside down, folding from the left to the center. I'll turn 90 degrees to the left to the center, another 90 degrees, left to the center, last 90 degree turn, to the center. As you can see, we are not folding any of the sections of our block that has the actual writing. We're not doing it at all. Okay? Alrighty. So now you guys see this is the flaps that are up, and these are when the flaps are down. So you want to keep it where the flaps are up after we have just did our 4 folds from the left to the center. And you're going to take the block this area here that has no writing, it's void of writing on both sides. Okay. And this is going to end up being a very instrumental block in the center of the template once we open it up. Okay, well, we have to do 2 folds, so pay attention closely. We're going to take here, okay, well, let's say we finished here with our block. We just did our last turn here. I'm going to tell you to turn 90 degrees to the left and then 45 degrees to the left. And I want you to edge match here to this crease here in the center, making sure it's actually on edge. And bringing it to a hard crease. Now I'm turning it over. Okay, now once again, remember I was here at a 45, okay? I creased it, all right? Now, from that 45, I want you guys to turn 90 degrees, so you'll have another edge pointing to you, because at first, I started here, and I said, turn to a 45, we folded. Now I want you to turn 45, 45, so that's 90 degree turn. We're gonna take this flat back, okay? And we're going to invert this 180 degrees. And we're gonna take this now, and we're gonna meet this end of the crease to this end of the crease. And this part here is a little different than what I learned from Jeremy's video. This next part here, I actually learned from Mother Aria Minfajaro. And when she did this move, I thought it was actually highly ingenious. So, here we go. It's funny how this little edge here just kind of folded and bubbled. Alright, there we go. No more bubbling for you. Alright. Here we go. And I'm going to show you how it kind of forms a half of a cube, because those other creases that we've made already have been very helpful. Okay? So I'm getting as close to the edge as possible, getting close to the corner as possible, and not necessarily bringing this here. Because once I've got those ends of the creases met, I can kind of hold this here. And I already have my half a block there. Do you guys see that? I already have 3 out of the 6 edges. So this enforces further us not creasing where the writing is, all right? So I'm gonna hold that like that there, and I'm gonna continue my creasing. Just to make sure it's creased, all right? And now I'm going to open it back up now, and now we have creased both, you know, this way and that way, all right? So now, from that crease there, let me just start from here. Now we're going to open our template here, where we had it. We're going to now invert it again, 180 degrees. And now we're going to unfold all of our edges. We're going to keep it face down. Can they see that? Can they see that box there?
I can see boxes.
You can see it, but I have to outline it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be clear.
Okay, so let me actually get 2 seconds. guess we'll just use red. So. Alright, guys. So, maybe I'll just do the black. Let's see if this shows up. So I'm gonna do my best to outline a little. Just about right here. You know, just gonna kind of maybe like perforate the line a little. But this is a crease that I'm actually outlining, guys. You know what I mean? So I want you to kind of see it. Don't do this in your practice. I'm only doing this for the sake of the video. Just in case it doesn't translate. Alrighty? So guys, here we go. There's your perforated line on the box. That's the box that you have gotten from doing all of our first few folds. So not only do we have 16 2-inch blocks, but we also have, you know, this is a very instrumental fold here. It's more of a support fold here. But first, before we do that, keeping it face down as we started. Okay, keeping it face down. We're going to take this corner here, and this corner here, and we're going to fold them inward. So here we go. We're going to take this edge of this crease here and this edge of this crease here. And we're going to meet them together. Just like that. Okay? Just like that. Get that edge as good as I possibly can. Okay? It's already kind of folded. I already have to block itself there. Holding it firm. Alright, there we go. Do the same for this corner here. On the edge. Alrighty, and last edge. And the only reason I'm doing these three because this one is already complete. And once again, we're meeting this crease edge here to this crease edge here without folding anything that's written on. Okay? Anywhere you see the information pertaining to the sign Taurus is right here. Alright? So, here we go. Alright. Let's get that. Let's make sure I got that really creased there. I want to make sure it looks right. Yeah, that's good. Alright. So, here we go. Alrighty, now open that. So now we have all our corners creased. Turning it back to where we can actually see Taurus face up, even though it's inverted. We're going to now invert 180 degrees to see everything on top. And now I want you to pay attention to three other blocks here, okay? Here we go. The box here, where it says fixed in possessions, right here. This box here, where it says Venus, Earth, and Copper, so the box that's in between those two. Okay, or tangent to, so to speak. Right. And this block here, it's right to the left of, that is to the left of Taurus, okay? So, this is what I normally do. Since I know now I'm going to be folding inward, I just kind of make the creases that I've already creased. I kind of make sure now this thing is a little inward this time, so it assists me in my creasing. So we're gonna take this edge here, where the crease edge is here, and meet it to this corner here, just like this. Hope you guys can get a good look at that. Okay. All right. Aries. Now we're going to take a copper crease to the edge of the Venus, and it's ascendant. And for our last one here, to meet with the edge next to Taurus. Alright. There we go. Okay. So now we have every part of our template folded. Normally you won't see this black here, like when you do it yourself, it won't be that there unless you want to. And when I crease for people upon request, as I did for the elders, you know, I always made it known, like, you know, I'm not gonna mark there. So alrighty, so now that we see where our box is after making our creases here on those boxes there, so everything that's not written on is creased. All right, so increased appropriately. So now let's form our AstroOraCube, our astrological oracle hexahedron. Actually, I was gonna say cube, but it's actually hexahedron is the sacred geometrical denotation. So here we go. We're gonna take our box here, right? And I have it, the box pointing downward to me actually. And where the box is, y'all, okay, we're gonna actually fold on that crease. Just like that. You guys see that? You can see that really well? Alrighty, so we're gonna fold on that crease in the center of our box, right? And we're gonna take this edge here, right here where my thumb is, and now where my index finger is pointing, we're gonna meet these edges. So here we go. And we're going to ensure our crease in the center. Okay. Now, I'm going to pick my template up. I'm going to hold it like this so you guys can actually kind of get a look at how this actually looks. Okay? Off that first fold. This is your point of focus here. So now I'm going to take my left hand, put my left thumb right here. And now I'm keeping my point at the top. Alrighty? Keeping my point at the top. Alright? This crease here next to Taurus, okay, is going to get folded so that this flap here meets next to Taurus, and this flap here for neck and throat meets next to Taurus as well. Okay, but that flap in between Taurus and neck and throat, which is right here, we're going to actually fold that back. Okay, tuck it in there like so, and then we're going to close neck and throat back over to meet Taurus again. Okay, I know this is in my right hand now with my right thumb over the throat part. Now I'm going to take my left hand, put my index finger here where my thumb was. Okay, now it's completely in my left hand, keeping my, this is my focus point part. My focus there. Here's another crease. We're going to meet Venus earth and copper now on that crease. And we should have this point left coming off of the earth and copper. That's one of your tuck flaps, okay? Right. Now, you see we have copper and earth, well, earth and copper meeting Venus. Venus and succeeding images right over my right thumb now, okay? But I'm making sure I'm keeping everything together, okay? Now, if you look to the left of my right thumb, just right here, there's a flat that will be inside of another flat. You want that, okay? So now we're going to take this flat where possessions and fixed will meet. And we're going to tuck that in accordingly. Increase on and actually fold on that crease, making sure our double flat stays together as well. And you should be left with 3 flats, really 4, but 2 are in 1 right here. Okay? So this is kind of how it should look before we actually finalize with our flaps, okay guys? Thus yielding you a seamless astrological oracle cube. No, hexahedron rather. Astrological oracle hexahedron. This is your educational, it's actually haptic, educational, interactive literature. And it is a flash card in which you can form into a cube. Alright, so then published via the first Bill of Rights. Religious Freedom Clause, liberty of conscience. And that is the first Bill of Rights pertaining to, oh, you know what? Let's go on back here real quick. Pertaining to the North American Republic Constitution, 1791. So let's go back to our 3 flaps here. Alright. Alright, so our 3 flaps are out. So the first one is our double flat. First one is our double flat. We're going to take our double flat, right? And first I want you to see where it's going. It's going to go under the possessions, second house and succeedant part of the cube. But it's got to actually go inside here. So we're going to actually take our left index finger and put it right where possessions is. Okay? Hold it there, letting our thumb close over where throat is. And the reason why we're keeping our index finger here at this edge, because when we fold, we want this corner to be flush with this crease here, okay? So I'm gonna go put this tip of the flap under succeeded. Okay, and look at that, how that flushes by me keeping my index finger there. Okay. And now I'm going to take where it says earth and copper, take my same left index finger, reinforcing that copper is held to the corner so that this crease can be flush with copper. This flap is going directly under copper, but it must be between, you know, this edge and this edge right here. And we're gonna put that in. And that's another flawless, seamless edge there. I think that's pretty freaking awesome, okay? Now, we're gonna find the side that says neck and throat, and we're gonna take our left index finger again, and we're gonna put it over the T at throat, so we can make sure that when we put this flat that's coming off of earth and copper, it is actually going in between there. Can I get a look-see there? Because you don't want it to go under this. You want it to go actually in there. Alrighty, so how we do that, we'll just keep our index finger over the last T in throat, slide it in there. We got that, can we see got it, okay, cool. And just slowly and patiently kind of feed it in there. But I'm making sure I'm keeping this part of the last part of throat because I really want this edge to stay flush. So let's see. Look at this. Come on here. Let's see. Make That's where we go. Let's see. Man, it's pretty freaking good. Sagittarius not bad. Sagittarius isn't bad. Some people will reinforce like that. I don't really bother to make it so super freaking tight because you're going to take it apart anyway. And this is just so that you guys can really get it where you need to get it, honestly. Alright. This is pretty good. So, there's the Taurus block. Taurus is the sign. That's its symbols. The second sign in the zodiac. And it appears now the sun is transiting Taurus in the tropic astrology. Though it is actually still transiting Aries, but let's stick to the tropic, or what is also termed Western astrology. So Taurus is ruled by Venus. Okay. I really want to reinforce this. I want this to be really sharp with no discrepancies. Yeah, there we go. Now it's kind of sitting. All right. So Taurus. Okay. Venus is its ruling planet. All right. Possessions, the second house, that's what it deals with. Second house deals with possessions. So Taurus and Venus correspond with the second house, which is the succeeding house, which deals with your personal possessions. Okay. It's anatomic analogy to the body is neck and throat. So you can also see that Taurus pertains to the neck and throat, and that part of the body is ruled by Venus. Taurus is also the fixed vernal equinox sign. You know, vernal equinox is the spring, so it's the second sign of the spring. All right, and its element and alchemical metal is earth, which is its element, and its alchemical metal is copper. So Venus rules copper as well. All right. And that is it for that one there. Now, if one, wanted to, I guess, let me see this Aquarius block here. So this is one that this is one of the prototypes. This is one of the first ones that I've ever done. I just wrote it with, a marker, and then tried to do like little, shadowing outline with a pen.
I can't see it. It's too bad.
It's too yellow.
It's like glare.
Okay, so let me get this Taurus one then. I'll get the Taurus one since we just worked on Taurus. I'll get the Taurus one. All right. So this is how you release a block. Okay, so just like we made this block here. Okay, so the one in my hand now is made from a 6-inch square, which yields a 1.5-inch AstroOraCube. The one we just did was an 8-inch square, which yielded a 2-inch AstroOraCube. All right. So let me show you how we release it. Okay, so how we release it is we find the element and the alchemical metal. And where the element and the alchemical metal is, there's usually a flap here. And let's see if it's here too in the same direction. No, it's a little different here because I think I wrote it a little differently. But it's right here. Okay? It's right here. Alright? On the AstroOraCube we just did. So I think I'll just show you with this. This is pretty cool. I'll show you with this one. So let's keep this one here. Even though I can still take that one apart. So this is the release flap. So let's say you just finished studying with your babies, or you and your friends in your study group were just finished studying. You guys, I don't know, maybe played a game with this or something, and you were doing whatever with your astrology flash challenges or whatever. So you'll take actually the element part here, and this is your release flap. So you can literally just release this with one pull, and it just comes right apart with no problem. And you can just flatten it out, and away for Neuer. And that is your haptic, educational, interactive, learning astrology cube. I just had to help Mother Aria with the cord. I just wanted to make sure I wouldn't knock down anything myself. So yeah, alrighty. So with that being said, that is basically the end all be all as far as the tutorial is concerned. So in post-prod, we'll just make it short as far as what came before, and now this part here a little after, and we'll just boom straight to having that, and maybe we'll have it on a drive too, and do astrology one-on-one workshop drive there put together.
Indeed.
So yeah, so that's it, guys.
So how can people get more? How can people purchase them? Or
well, they can transact for them. They can, if they would like to exchange their energy, and they would like to yield us some of their energy so that we can go further in developing our curriculum and our educational tools. You guys can email. Of course, there's always Hasan Ghaziel Bey at gmail.com. You can also email 7HealStar. That's the number 7. For you. Ran it backwards. 7HealStar at gmail.com. The PayPal is 7HealStar at gmail.com. I know some of you ate the DJ 37 boxes. We're going to really be riding on the 7HealStar energy even more as well, with Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the forefront of that thought, first and foremost. As always, we're never losing sight that we are more American nationals that have been taught and reminded by our beloved big brother and noble Prophet Drew Ali.
Inyan Bey said Islam, great class, Brother Hasan, I give thanks.
Oh, the peace, indeed, all the praises due to mommy, brother Inyan.